Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Georgetown Speaks. I'm your host, Ibrahim Absar, and I'm from the SFS class of 2026. I'm joined by my two co hosts, Abdullah and Ubaid, and we have a very special episode lined up for all of you today.
Hi guys, I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Abdullah, and indeed it is going to be a very interesting episode. What do you have to say about that, Ubaid?
Well, we have a very special guest with us today, and we're very, very happy to have you here, Sir Benjamin Kurian.
Rightly said, rightly said.
The knighted one.
Yeah, we're very proud of everything that you've done for the community. For those of you who don't know, and especially for the incoming freshman class, Benjamin serves as the Student Government Association's head, and he's the president of the student body.
Yeah, so firstly, I would like to interject over here. For those of you who do not know, I feel like people who don't know him are living under a rock. But as you said, for the incoming class, Benjamin's a senior right now. He will be graduating in 20 days, I think. Oof, just 20 days left. He is an I history major, and he, as Ubaid already pointed out, he's the president of the Student Government Association.
And we will let him explain the accomplishments as well. But I want to thank you for coming on the show, sir. Right? We're pleased to have you, And we'll start on a lighter note. How do you feel about graduating?
Thank you so much, Ubaid, Ibrahim, Abdullah. About graduating. It's bittersweet, to be honest. It's a rite of passage. You have to graduate at one day or another. I love my time at Georgetown. I have loved Georgetown. I have tried to do many things for the community here, build a community. But still, yeah, you have to graduate at one point. And as much as I hate to graduate from Georgetown, that's something that I look forward to as well.
Okay.
And that's something that I pray for. Every day I pray, I have to graduate and I have to have the strength, to survive the world afterwards. It's a scary world out there. I mean, yeah. So
It's obviously a scary transition at the end of the day.
It is.
I pray that we have the strength to live in Georgetown without Benjamin's presence as
No,
well.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be difficult.
It'll be
For
very
sure.
challenging,
Yeah.
but we'll try our best to make it somehow. But one of the things that I want to ask you, right, and I'm sure the people who are listening to it would love to listen to your perspective as well, of in your 4 years, how has Georgetown kind of changed? And how did Georgetown change you as well?
About my change in Georgetown, the incoming freshmen at the class of 2027 might know me from the Instagram posts or the WhatsApp groups that the SGA.
I'm sure they will know you.
So yeah, the SGA took that initiative to start the WhatsApp group for the incoming freshmen to, make them feel part of the community even before they're here. So I hope you know me already, but there's one person that you might, encounter in your 4 years. That is Jibin Koshi. He works in student life. He's the education enrichment manager. Something that Jibin told me was, Benjamin, I have seen you grow since freshman year. One club or one activity that I've been doing since freshman year is MUN. And Jibin manages MUN.
Yeah.
I started off as a staff member in MUN. I served as the chair in my second year, as the deputy secretary general in my third year, and the secretary general in my fourth year. Jibin saw me grow as an individual, and he is someone that I look up to. He is someone that has guided me, and when he says that I have grown, I do believe that I have grown. I really have grown. Georgetown has given me so much to think about, so much to learn, so much new experiences. Meeting new people, new perspective. If you had seen me, if I had gone to India after my graduation from high school, I wouldn't be the same person that I am right now. I'd be a completely different person with different perspectives.
Yeah.
Georgetown gave me a whole new perspective to look at every matter in an unbiased manner. So I think, as an individual, it has helped me a lot. And about Georgetown growing, as a community, we have grown. Every year, so when the class of 2023, my batch came into Georgetown, we were the biggest bunch. After that, the 2024 came in, 2025 came in, 2026. So each batch, the numbers increased. And each batch got even crazier and crazier. Last year, in my junior year, we would sit in the atrium and we would be focusing on our assignments or deadlines or everything. And we see these freshmen, the class of 2025, just running around playing catch and catch, or I don't know, hide and seek. I was like, how do these guys even have time for any of these things? The class of 2026 came in. They were even more crazier, lunatics. But again, that's something that you experience. These new people come in, and then you are here for like 3 or 4 years, and then you get used to all these things. But when the new batch comes in, they are full of life and energy. And I feel like we can take an example from that, just living that carefree life every now and then. So I think, as a community, Georgetown has grown. Even in the senior leadership, Dr. John Wright, Dean Masri, he's like, all these people are like very much involved in the student community. They know each and everything that goes on in the students, within the student body. Students have opportunities to talk to these people. When I came in as a freshman, we never saw our dean except for the commencement or convocation.
Interesting.
Yeah, we would see him, walking past the atrium for some other meeting. He would just smile and then he would leave. No one even knew that such a person existed. People know Dean Masri, which means he is very much involved in the student body. So I think, Georgetown has grown. I have grown, and the community really certainly has grown.
So speaking of someone who has been so involved in the community, and you like the fact that the Georgetown has grown because like it's more, student centric now, and people are more involved in the community. Personally, when you came as a freshman, what sparked your interest in SGA? And you joined the SGA and you wanted to create change, but why?
Freshman year, I wanted to be part of SGA, but it was a lot of competition.
I see.
It's a lot of competition. In the freshman class representatives, it's a lot of competition. So I did not want to take my chances. So I said, okay, I'll, go sometime later.
Played smart.
Yeah, played smart. Yeah, true, exactly. I mean, you don't want to be the guy who lost the first election.
Yeah.
You have to make a first impression. So sophomore year, COVID hit. So it's like very much disconnected from the community. And that's when I realized that how much I missed Georgetown, because in my freshman year, I used to be secluded in my small friend group, not talking to anyone. Not even in my friend group, I would be the most silent person. And during COVID, I realized how much I missed Georgetown, the campus life and everything. And coming back to campus in my junior year, I decided like, okay, I am gonna be more involved in the community, participate in all the activities, go to all events. So I was thinking about this, and my dear friends from my batch, Abdullah Nasir, Fuad Ansaruddin, Said Ali Khan, these people were the ones who actually asked me to run for class representative. I naturally told them like, I am not going to run because I'm not going to win. Because half of the batch doesn't know me. And but they still push me. They pushed me, and to a point where like I had to send my nomination, and they said, Benji, you will win. We'll make you win. Don't worry. These are Abdullah's words, Abdullah Nasir's words. He said, Benji, we are going to make you win. And sure, he did. He did make me win. And I became the class rep. And I like to think that I was very efficient with my co-class rep, Noor Al-Banna. We did many things for our batch. We raised all the concerns that our batch raised to us in the Student Liaison Committee in the SGA. And we were very much involved. Again, in my senior year, again, Abdullah and the others were the ones who actually pushed me to run for president again. I was scared because class representative, it's fine. Students can vote for 2 people. They vote for one, their friend, and the other guy, any random dude who's over there. So you had a chance of winning for class rep, but for the other one, it's like one role, the highest office in the student body. Yeah, I said, no, this is not going to work out. But still, they asked me to run, and sure, I won. And since then, it has been a steep learning curve for me. I have dedicated all my time for the welfare of student body. I've made sure that all the concerns of students are heard. And I have made sure that SGA is seen. That's something that I take as an accomplishment. I don't know, getting the community building or all those things, it happens not just because of me or anyone. It happens because of collective effort, student life, admissions. All these people come together, even the students, they come together. They feel like, okay, we have to participate in this. And that's how a community grows.
Yeah.
But for the students to have a trust in SGA, I think I've made that happen. Students now
And-
trust SGA, which is, I think, something that
For sure, as students of Georgetown, we can attest to that fact that we have seen the SGA work more when Benjamin came, when Benjamin became president. But another important thing that I'd like to mention when Benjamin was speaking, that when COVID hit, you said you really missed Georgetown, or you saw how there was a lack of community within the Georgetown, and you said you hung around with your own bunch of friends, and then you decided to do something about it. This is very important. I feel like a lot of people just mention, oh, there isn't any sense of community.
Yes.
Oh, I just hang out with my own friends. There isn't a lot of interaction. And they just keep on ranting about it without actually doing something themselves. With Benjamin's example, we see that he saw a problem and then he did something to address that problem.
Himself.
Yeah, himself. He became the president with the support of his friends, which tells us how important making friends is. Then he addressed that problem. Like he said, he dedicated his entire time towards the SGA and forming this kind of community, which I think is a very important lesson all of us can learn from his
And
experience.
speaking of your dedication towards the SGA, which one aspect or one accomplishment do you feel like you're most proud of in your time as the president of the SGA, or in general during your role throughout your 4 years with the SGA?
The biggest accomplishment, I would say, is establishing relations. I mean, outreach. That would be the biggest achievement. We have established formal relations with GASA, Georgetown University Student Association, in the main campus, the undergraduate student body, student government, and grad government, which is the graduate student government in Georgetown. Also, we have established formal relations with all the EC SGAs, with all the SGAs in Education City. We have had one event in collaboration with grad government and GASA, and we will be having monthly meetings with the GASA president and our executive, which is a great accomplishment because our students go to DC for study abroad and they experience the same thing that the DC students do, and we are oblivious to that fact. Like we never even know what goes on over there. So I think this connection helps the students who go for study abroad because GASA can help the GUQ students during their time in DC. And we have also contacted QF and the other universities in EC for the creation of Education City Student Government Association, which will be a tabling of all the student governments in EC. It'll be a monthly meeting, and it'll have initiatives and events incorporating the entire Education City community. Because when you look at events in Georgetown, let it be Diwali, you don't have just Georgetown students. You have students from CMU, Texas, all coming in. And they are here because they want to be here because we are all friends. I mean, we have friends in other universities. Almost half of the student body, they are international students. They live in the dorms. So they have other friends who go to other universities, and we want to bring everyone together. We want to bring the entire Education City together as a multiversity. And we have been in talks with Qatar Foundation, the Qatar Foundation Student Life, and the director, Dr. Mohammed Al-Kuwari, has been really helpful in that regard.
So these are some amazing accomplishments that you've attained over such a short period of time. But I'm sure it must not always be bells and roses throughout your time as SGA president. There must be a fair share of challenges that have come your way. So what would you think the biggest challenge for you has been throughout your time as SGA president? And how do you feel like you made a job to, overcome that and deal with it in an effective way?
Of course, nothing is a better process. It's sometimes it's just made of thorns. So my biggest challenge would have been to take a side.
Big sides.
Yeah, pick sides. That would have been a big challenge. We live in a world filled with conflicts.
Yeah, for sure.
And many of those conflicts are directly linked to our students.
Yeah.
Students come from those places. And as the student body, a student government representing the student body, we are forced to make statements on each and everything. But that's almost not practical because there are millions of events that goes on every day, and you might not be able to make official statements on everything. So that picking sides was one thing, and one of the other big challenges would have been because we lacked manpower, we lacked personal resources because all these ECSGA, GASA relations, main campus relations, and everything. It required time and effort because 8 hours difference in DC when you're having a meeting. I sometimes have to set up for meetings at like 12 a.m. 12 a.m., 11 p.m., that sort of timing. So it's very highly inconvenient because I have classes and then I have other things to do as well. I was also chairing the student liaison committee, so I had to take care of that meetings and everything. So it was my hands were full. Right now, we have sort of figured out a way to tackle that problem. We have introduced a new position, Chief of Staff, who would manage the Student Liaison Committee and also manage the SGA meetings, put down the agendas and everything. We have sort of updated the role of the PRO to involve Education City, SGA, and grad government and GASA liaison. So I think, we have had our flaws a bit, but we have tried as much as we can to overcome those flaws as well.
Now, Benjamin, talking about picking sides, whenever there's a team, obviously there's disagreement among them. Now, as president, we've always seen you as this dynamic individual who's worked a lot. But as president of the SGA, you also served as a mentor and as a leader of the SGA, of the other members of SGA. So do you think that you were able to build a strong team within the SGA? How were the dynamics of SGA during your tenure as president? Were there a lot of disagreements? And if there were, how did you overcome that? Or were you one unit as a team?
I would love to say that we were one unit, but that would be a lie. So when the student body looks at the SGA, we are everywhere. You see the SGA logo in a student lounge. We have redesigned the student lounge, Red Square. We have redesigned the Red Square. We have done variety of things. We have established SGA as one of the major stakeholders in this university, which is a great accomplishment. But within SGA, we have our differences. For everything, we have differences. When we put something to vote, it is never a clear majority. So we have had the differences, but the thing is, we keep the differences within the meeting. I don't know. So we recently amended the constitution for SGA. We put in a few roles, a few things were taken out. So the in charge of the constitution committee was Juan Carlo Landayan. He was a junior class representative. He's currently running for president as a candidate. So we have our differences with Carlo. He was doing his study abroad in DC right now. He zooms in with me just to create problems. I don't know. He wakes up at 5 in the morning over there, and he zooms in, and basically we just have arguments. But right after that, I shut down the Zoom call. I get a WhatsApp message from Carlo saying like, "Hey Benji, hope you did not take it too hard. We're just just joking, just chilling, all this." Obviously it was the same thing. So personally, we were not affected, but we did have our opinions, but we obviously put the welfare of the student body above that.
I feel like it's actually great to have those disagreements, right, inside the SGA, because like with those disagreements, like when you're sitting at the table, there are disagreements, but as long as there's one common goal, that the welfare of student body, as you put it, it's much better to have those disagreements.
You reach to more reformed conclusions that way.
Also, so talking about disagreements, I feel like it's natural to have these disagreements, and it's amazing that you guys keep them in the meeting of the SGA and don't let those disagreements impact the student body. But do you think that because there have been a lot of obstacles in the functioning of SGA, because you did a lot of work and that work was not done before, so you have to do a lot of things from the start. So do you think there has been any individual, whoever it is, or any factor that was a major obstacle in the smooth operations of the SGA while your tenure as president?
Within SGA?
Either within SGA or within the wider Georgetown community. That was a big hindrance in your operations.
Okay. there were hindrances because until that point, SGA was just a glorified student club. Uh, you elect the club leaders and club leaders host events. But the only difference with SGA was the club leaders are elected by the entire student body. That used to be SGA. So when I took over as the president of the student body, I decided that this is one of my hidden agendas. Like, we have to have a name for SGA. SGA is not a glorified club. It is a body representing the entire students in Georgetown. I have got 463 students behind me. I'm representing 463 students. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So whenever we sit in a meeting or whenever I put forth an argument, obviously there are some old school people who would be resistant to that idea. But in that case, Dr. John Wright, the director of Student Life, Dean Masri, Dean Hill, all these people, Dean Vicky, Dean Nebel, all these people are constantly with us, encouraging us. And they gave their stamp of approval for the SGA, which means like when you have the dean's stamp of approval, I mean, no one's gonna do anything to you. So you sit in the meetings as equals amongst the other department heads or other staff and faculty, and they just have to accept the fact that students do have a say in the workings of the university. Because we are one of the major, we are the end consumers. We are the people who actually get something from the university. The university is catered to the needs of students, and it should be. And the administration currently is making sure of that, which I'm very proud of and happy.
Amazing.
So speaking of catering to the needs of students, and you mentioned how whenever there's like a stamp of approval, that thing goes through, right? But obviously there are so many different voices that should be heard on campus as well. And recently there has been a lot of controversy about freedom of speech on college campuses, with some people arguing that certain viewpoints are being censored or marginalized. What is the Student Governments Association's stance on this issue, and how does it balance the right to free speech within the need of Georgetown to create kind of a safe and inclusive space on campus?
On free speech,
Yeah.
the first thing that I guess everyone should notice is that there's a thin line between free speech and hate speech.
Yeah.
It's a very thin line, and it needs to be differentiated, or it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
So free speech, I mean, all the universities are for free speech, so is Georgetown. We encourage free speech. We have Red Square, which is another great contribution by the SGA in 2018 under the presidency of Malak Al-Moh. So we have a Red Square replicating, it's a replica of the main campus. It's for free speech. Students can go there, put up whatever they feel like. But obviously, it's free speech, not hate speech. But within that line, students can say whatever they want. So we have been trying to, when I took over as SGA president, one of the things that I did was, or I had in my agenda was make use of the Red Square. Because at that point, as Red Square was used as a study space, which is very ironical because that is one place that that had protest and everything, and now students are using that as a study space because it's very calm and quiet and peaceful, which shouldn't be the case. So I was really disappointed in that. So we got Gabriel Olsen. He helped redesign the Red Square. We put in many tables, chairs, made it like a welcoming space. We have our weekly SGA meetings there. We have our SGA meeting. We used to have it in the Student Life conference room, but we moved it to Red Square because I felt that is the place that, because it's managed by the SGA. Red Square and Student Lounge are two student spaces, which is managed by the SGA. And I felt like that is some place that we should have our meetings in. And I encourage the club leaders. We have been having many club events over there. And I've been encouraging students to put up posters like if they have anything to do, if they have a concern that the university needs to address, they can come to us. Or if they feel so frustrated, we have a printer in the Red Square. Go print it. We have sellotapes, tape it up. We have put in various things so that students can actually post the stuff on it. So we are all for free speech. We try to try to ask the students to, I'm forgetting the word, but we encourage them to have free speech or speak their mind.
Yeah.
Speak
I
their
feel like-
mind, but in a manner that is respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very important thing to note for the upcoming class of 2027, the importance of free speech in the School of Foreign Services. Obviously, it cannot be underscored as much as you mentioned. So let's switch the conversation now towards more, candid kind of deep cuts that we have in store for you. Okay, so would you agree with the following statement?
Okay.
Is Benjamin Kurian the best president SGA has ever had?
There might be best presidents coming up. I mean,
But right now,
right now,
Up until now.
it's for the students to say. It's for the students to say. It's not my.
That's a very democratic answer.
This is how you know he studies in the School of Foreign
Yes.
Service.
Yeah, exactly.
the Georgetown has changed him.
True. Something I think before you ask the other question, something that you mentioned. Yeah, we are in the School of Foreign Service. I think the students actually forget that point. And I usually hear like when there is an argument, and when you try to settle that argument, the students actually say, "Why are you trying to shut us down? We are politics students." No, you're not politics students. You're diplomats. If
Yeah,
anything.
there's a difference.
There's a difference between
Yeah.
politics and diplomacy. And the students should be well aware of that. You might be IPOL majors, history majors, CULP majors, IECO, but at the end of the day, you're in the School of Foreign Service, graduating with a degree in foreign service.
Yeah.
You are expected to be diplomats. And that is much, much better than being a politician.
Yeah.
And it is one skill that you should learn.
Yeah.
In your 4 years, if you have learned anything, that should be one thing.
Yeah. Okay, so the SGA elections are around the corner, right? And the new SGA government is going to take charge very soon. So, what's your message to the newly elected members of the SGA?
We have tried to do as much as we can. My SGA, we have done as much as we can when we have many other things to do as well. Needs keep on increasing, and we must strive to accommodate all those needs. Never dismiss the previous SGA. I mean, you might be running against their rule or running against whatever they were standing for, but still, if anything that I have accomplished, it's because I followed the previous SGA models. The EC-SGA idea was given by Hadi Darwishi, the third SGA president. After that, Mohammad Seral Khatem, the sixth SGA president, he came in and he helped me. These two people were the ones who actually introduced me to the idea of an EC-SGA.
Yeah.
And they helped me, and now it's up and running. So if I had dismissed my previous governments, then I wouldn't be accomplishing all these things.
Those are actually very important statements. So coming towards the last question, on a very personal note, where does Benjamin Kurian go on from here? What are your future plans? What do you do after this?
Interesting question. I wish I knew the answer. I would, in the end, love to work in an intergovernmental agency like the UN, and maybe not the UN, but Commonwealth of Nations is one thing that I was looking at. But other NGOs, those other things. Because in my talks with the admissions department, one thing that they looked at, they were telling me that one of the reasons why students are admitted to Georgetown is because they had a strong feeling to change the world. They wanted to create some change in the world. They were not happy about the current world system, and they were passionate about bringing change and bringing change in the right manner.
Yeah.
So I feel like I shouldn't let the admissions department down. And
Neither one of us.
yeah, I don't want them to feel like, oh, we have made a mistake. But yes, so I would like to eventually be part of change in the world.
Benjamin, it was a pleasure to have you, man.
It is a pleasure to be here.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for finding time. I hope the people who are listening learn something from this, and we will definitely miss you. Thank you so much for being a part of SG as well. and creating the change that you spoke about.
And best of luck for the future.
Yeah.
May you achieve all the goals you have set for yourself.
And whatever you do in life, I'm sure you'll do amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you
It's a
so
big
much.
thank you from
Hoya
all of us.
Saksa.
Oh, yes.
Hoya Saksa.